You just saved your first $1,000. Nice. That's further than most people ever get. So, now what? Here's where it goes wrong for almost everyone. They do one of two things. They either let it just sit there in a checking account, quietly losing value to inflation, or they panic that they're behind and they throw the whole $1,000 into some random stock a guy on the internet swore was going to explode. Both are mistakes, expensive ones. Because that first $1,000, it's not really about the money. $1,000 invested once isn't going to make you rich. But the order you do things in, the system you build around that first $1,000, that's the thing that makes you rich later. So today, I'm giving you the exact order, step by step, what to do with your first $1,000, starting the moment it lands. And step 4 is the one almost nobody does, the one that quietly changes everything. Let's go. Step 1. Before anything else, before investing, before paying off debt, carve out a small buffer. Not a full emergency fund, we'll get to that, just a cushion. A few $100s, sitting in a separate savings account that exists for one reason, so the next small emergency doesn't undo everything you're about to build. Here's why this comes first. Picture it. You skip this step. You take all $1,000 and you put it to work. You pay down a debt, you invest it, whatever. You feel great. Then your tire blows out, or the phone screen cracks, or a bill shows up you forgot about. And now what? You've got no cash. So you reach for a credit card. And just like that, you're back in the hole. Except now it's worse, because it's high-interest debt. That little buffer is what breaks the cycle. It's not exciting. It won't make you money. But it's the foundation everything else stands on. A few $100, set aside, untouchable. Do that first. Step 2. Now look at your debts. And be honest. Not all debt is the same. There's a line, and you need to know which side of it you're on. Anything charging you high interest, and I mean the really nasty stuff, credit cards, payday loans, that kind of thing, that is a 5-alarm fire. And you put out the fire before you do anything else with your money. Why? Think about it. If your credit card charges you, say, 20-something% a year, then every dollar you use to pay it off is like earning that same 20-something%, guaranteed. Risk-free. There is no investment on earth that reliably pays you that. None. So paying off a 20% debt is mathematically the best investment available to you. It's not even close. So with whatever's left of your $1,000 after the buffer, if you've got toxic debt, it goes here. Every dollar. This isn't the fun step, but it might be the highest return move you ever make. Now, low interest debt, like a reasonable student loan or a mortgage, different story. That can wait. You don't have to rush that. It's the high interest stuff that's the emergency. Step 3. Okay, buffer set, toxic debts handled. Now we build the real thing, a proper emergency fund. This is the big brother of that little buffer from step 1. The goal eventually is 3 to 6 months of your basic living expenses. Rent, food, the essentials. Sitting in a high-yield savings account, boring and safe, where you can get to it fast. Now, you're not going to hit 3 to 6 months with $1,000. Obviously, this is a longer project. But here's the mindset shift. Your first $1,000 isn't the finish line. It's proof the machine works. You built a system that turns income into savings. Now you just keep feeding it, automatically. Which brings me to the thing that ties all of this together, and it's step 4, the one almost nobody actually does. Step 4, automate it, all of it. Here's the uncomfortable truth about money. Willpower doesn't work, not long term. You will have good months where you feel motivated and disciplined, and bad months where you don't. And if your entire financial plan depends on you feeling motivated every single month for the next 30 years, it's going to fail. Everyone's does. So you take yourself out of the equation completely. You set up an automatic transfer. The day after payday, before you've even looked at the money, a fixed amount moves on its own into your savings and your investments. You don't press a button. You don't make a decision. It just happens. This is the single most powerful thing in this entire video, because it turns being good with money from a daily battle into a thing that happens in the background while you live your life. The people who win with money aren't more disciplined than you, I promise. They just set it up once, and then they stopped relying on willpower. Automate the machine. This is the step that changes everything. Step 5. Now, finally, we invest. And I know that's the part you've been waiting for. But notice how far down the list it is. That's on purpose. Investing only works when the foundation underneath it is solid. Buffer, toxic debt, emergency fund started, everything automated. Now the money you invest can actually stay invested. So here's the simple version. And simple is the whole point. You do not need to pick stocks. You do not need to watch the market. You do not need to know what a candlestick chart is. For most people getting started, the boring answer is the best one, a low-cost, broad index fund. One fund that, in a single move, spreads your money across hundreds or thousands of companies at once. Instead of betting on one company and praying, you own a tiny slice of basically everything. When the whole market grows over time, and historically over long enough stretches it has, you grow with it. Low fees, wide spread, automatic monthly buys. That's it. That's the strategy that quietly beats most professional investors over the long run, not because it's clever, because it's consistent, and it never gets interrupted. Step 6. And this might be the hardest one. Once it's invested, leave it alone. I mean it. This is where people sabotage themselves. The market's going to drop sometimes. It always does. You'll open the app one day and see red, and your stomach will drop, and every instinct in your body is going to scream, do something. Sell. Get out. Protect yourself. Don't. Here's the reframe. Those drops aren't a signal that you did something wrong. They're just the price of admission, the fee you pay for the growth that comes on the other side. Everyone who got the reward paid that fee. There's no version where you get the growth without the dips. The investors who do the best over decades are almost never the most active. Often they're the ones who forgot the account existed, who never panicked, never interrupted it, and just let time do the heavy lifting. So set it, feed it, and then let it be. So there's your exact order. Let's run it back quick. Step 1, a small starter buffer, so a tiny emergency can't derail you. Step 2, put out the high-interest debt fire. Step 3, build toward a real 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Step 4, automate all of it because willpower runs out. Step 5, invest the rest simply in a low-cost index fund. And step 6, leave it alone and let time work. Notice what your first $1,000 really was. It was never going to be the thing that made you wealthy on its own. It was the seed. The first turn of a machine that, if you keep feeding it, does the rest quietly for years. You already did the hardest part. You saved it. Now you know exactly where it goes. If this gave you a clear plan, subscribe. Every week we break down how money actually works. And that video on your screen? It's the 7 money rules that make every step you just learned automatic. Go watch it next. See you in the next one.